Welcome to this week's episode of the Lads Film Thing podcast, where four friends discuss a film and generally have a good time. Be warned, there will be spoilers for this film that came out in 1974. So, you've got Lucy.
Hi.
Me, Abby. Dan.
Hi.
And Sam.
Hey.
So this week was my film choice. And I chose Young Frankenstein, starring Gene Wilder and Marty Feldman and directed by Mel Brooks. Our first introduction to Dr. Frederick Frankenstein is he's working as a lecturer in America, and he's lecturing a group of students, and he becomes absolutely enraged at one of his students bringing up his grandfather, Victor Frankenstein. Anyone have anything to say?
Yeah, I do have something to say because I love Gene Wilder and he's so funny in... I mean, he's an absolute goofball in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and like films like See No Evil, Hear No Evil. He's really good. But what I love about him is when he completely flies off the handle and he's like shouting. That's like classic Gene Wilder for me. When his like really high-pitched shouting voice at something just completely exasperated is just perfect. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And it being right at the start, I was like, yes, I'm in for a good film. This is going to be good. I have seen it before, but not for maybe 20 years, 15, 20 years, I think. This film. Yeah, I'm 20.
Since you're a wee baby.
Sorry.
Either it ages down, or it means it's 1995 when we're recording this.
Yeah. This is one of the first podcasts.
Yeah.
So that bit in the classroom is really funny, and I made a couple of notes on that. Because he's got that guy, that volunteer that comes in, doesn't he, to like test out.
Oh, he
like,
does, yeah.
He puts a clamp on the back of his neck and it's like to stop like his reflex or something, doesn't it? And he stood there and he like knees him like in the groin, and then the guy's like, oh, and then he like ushers him away and he's like to the like orderly guy, he's like, give him an extra $1. Like, he's kicks him in the nuts and he's like, $1. That's what that's worth. It's so funny. And that's the bit where he's, again, classic Gene Wilder, so enraged, and he stabs himself in the leg with the skull.
Yeah.
His comic timing from the second that it starts is just so spot on, isn't it? Like, yeah, absolutely perfect.
For me, he's like a little bit too good at that, like flying off the handle though. It's the same in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like, at the end when he's really moody with Charlie, and he's like, you took the thing you shouldn't have taken, and you did all that stuff. And I'm like, no, don't be mean to him. Like, it's like, I'm like, no, I want nice Gene Wilder. So I felt a little bit like that then. I was like, let's just move through this into him being like back to hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the class, a solicitor has come and he informs him that he's inherited his family's estate in Transylvania. And with a little bit of argument, he agrees to travel there to inspect the property. And this is the first time that we meet his fiancée, Elizabeth, who waves him off. And she's a bit of a socialite. It's one of my favourite scenes of anything ever, which I recreate all the time, where she's like, no, the lips. I've just put lipstick on. And then she's like, no, the hair. I've just had it done. No, the top. It's taffeta.
Yeah.
I just love it so much. And then they rub elbows. It makes me laugh every single time. And any time we like do a big goodbye, I tend to recreate that scene because it's hilarious. And then she says like, I've got something I want to say to you. You've got it, mister. It's like the least loving. Amazing. Okay, he's met at the station by Igor, who is played by the amazing Marty Feldman, which apparently was... Gene Wilder said that he would do it if Marty Feldman could be got to do Igor.
Really?
Oh.
Which is adorable.
That's amazing because he's perfect. He
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I can see why he said that. That's amazing.
And his grandfather also worked for Victor Frankenstein. And he meets his new lab assistant, Inga.
Okay.
But that scene where they first meet has just got so many classic jokes in there. Like, it's every single bit is just hilarious. Like the bit with the hump on his back and the walk this way, all of that. Like everything is just gold.
And I love the fact that he's called Igor. instead of Igor, and it's like such an obvious joke because of obviously Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But then he's just called Igor for the whole rest of the movie. I just love it so much. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then, he meets his new lab assistant, Inga. And again, I mean, I feel like there's so many classic jokes, particularly in just the first half an hour of this film, that I just love. But one of my favourites is where they're going through the woods and she's like, a werewolf. And he's like, werewolf? Werewolf? It's just the most fucking stupid classic line though that's just excellent. Just makes you laugh every time. You can't even help it. It's amazing.
Especially for 50 years later, still as funny as it was then.
Yeah.
But it is so silly. That's what I loved about it. It's like the jokes are so silly but just so funny. Like you don't have to think about it. It's just so enjoyable. Just so much fun.
Yeah, definitely. And then he gets to the castle and he meets Frau Blucher, which again, classic that every time they say that, the horses whinny and gets super annoyed.
Yeah, and there's lightning as well, isn't there? Like a lightning strike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And then Igor keeps saying her name just to make that happen, which is just so funny. So Frau Blucher shows him to his room and then he finds his grandfather's old lab. And again, I literally cannot get more than one sentence in without the amazing jokes, but do you you remember the bit where he's like, move the candle?
Yeah.
That bit is just so funny.
Yeah, and takes so long as well. It literally takes forever to get into that room, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
He's stuck in. Is he stuck? He literally just
There's a bit where he's like, move the candle.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you. Do you know where Transylvania is?
Yeah, like north.
North of where? It is north of some places.
I was going to say east.
Oh.
Oh.
Again, east of where? East of where we are now.
Yeah.
So Norfolk. Or Kent.
Mm-hmm. Because we're in London.
No.
No, I have no idea. Is it even a real place?
It's in Romania. Apparently, Romania is...
Hang on.
Yeah.
It's in Romania. You can just edit that in. That's the question.
Yeah.
5.
It's in Romania, which is east from here.
And north of the places that are south of it.
Yeah, Romania.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wondered because when she does her accent, I was like, where is Transylvania?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Dracula is Transylvania,
Yeah.
and Frankenstein's Transylvania.
Yeah.
I always thought Frankenstein was Austria, that way, or that's where Frankenstein lived, like Dr. Frankenstein.
So maybe this is just
Dunno.
like they hang.
But they historically both Transylvania then.
I don't know.
I really don't
I
know.
always thought Transylvania was the Dracula thing rather than Frankenstein.
Maybe it's because, the thing is, we're in 1974 in this movie, aren't we? But now Transylvania is where everything happens, isn't it? Hotel
Spooky.
Transylvania.
Yeah,
it's
Transylvanian
just-
Pet Shop.
Yes, Transylvania
Exactly,
Pet Shop.
exactly, yeah.
I was going to say that's what I know it from. Yeah.
Really?
The pet shop.
Vampirina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, that's Pennsylvania. She moves to.
Yeah, but
it?
she
She's
moved from Transylvania.
Yeah.
Count Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these things.
Dracula.
But you're right, I wouldn't have put Frankenstein in there as well. But
Yeah.
we'll have to go and look that up.
I feel like if anyone knows that,
Yeah.
definitely
We'll pop to the library and have a look and see where
Yeah,
it
you
is.
guys at home probably know. Someone will know.
face space us or something.
We're actually around the corner from the British Library.
Yeah.
You go there right
In
now.
Manchester.
In London.
Yeah.
London, Canada.
Canada. In Kenya.
Ryan Gosling is from London, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, is he?
Evan River Thames as well.
Really?
Yeah, and Rachel McAdams.
We love her.
They've got a Rachel McAdams, Jinx, padlock lasers. So then he finds his grandfather's lab, and on reading his journal, staying up all night, he decides to restart his grandfather's experiments.
Yay.
Which is amazing.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, if he doesn't, there's a pretty boring film.
Yeah,
At the
it just
beginning when he's
stops
like,
there.
yeah, when he's like, his work was crap, I don't want to do any of that stuff. You're like, no, come on, just move through that into the bit where you're going to like do
Yeah.
a monster.
Yeah, we know it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Get on with it. So they go and steal a corpse, and Frederick sends Igor off to get the brain of a scientist and a saint called Hans Delbruck. But Igor scares himself in a mirror
Oh, by his own reflection.
and drops Hans Delbruck's brain and just takes another random brain, which is labelled abnormal.
Yes, abnormal.
Abby normal.
Abby,
Abnormal.
normal. Yeah.
And hang on, is this the bit, it might have been earlier, it might not have been yet, where they do that pan of like those heads, those like dead heads?
Oh yeah.
And it's like 1 year dead, 6 months dead, 1 month dead, and then it's just Igor's face.
And it says like barely dead
Yeah,
or
it just
something.
made me laugh so much. His little face, it's there in that hole. It's like, I love this so
It's
much.
such an expressive face.
I also would like to ask if there's actually brain depositories,
Oh,
just in general.
have you not researched this?
People definitely can donate their brain to science.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's... I thought it's like studying medical students rather than actually like to keep them all stored somewhere for mad scientists.
Putting in the body of another human
Yeah.
being.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
know though, because it's quite similar to Get Out.
Yeah.
Taking a brain and putting it in
Yeah.
another human
Yeah,
being.
good point. We have some real themes running
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams.
We have no Rachel McAdams so
No,
far.
not
so far.
yet.
But that will,
Yeah.
there will be.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will
That's
rectify this.
a future theme. Okay.
And also, I don't know if you guys noticed this. Did you see the note on the door of the brain depository? It said, "After hours, put the brains through the slot in the door."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Which all of that stuff is just, again, so stupid, so
Yeah.
silly.
There's
and
like
so
no
funny.
wasted opportunity for a joke, is there?
Yeah, I love it. That's so
Yeah.
good.
I totally didn't even spot that.
Yeah. And then there's the amazing scene where they bring the creature to life with an electrical charge in a lightning storm.
Mm.
And apparently loads of the props were from the 1931 film.
Oh.
And they
Ah.
actively, even though they had colour films in 1974, Wikipedia reliably informs me, he wanted it filmed only in black and white. The studio wanted him to film it in colour, like as a just in case.
And then converted to black and white.
Yeah, and he refused because he thought that the studio might just make it colour
Yeah.
and release
Oh,
it
I
like
see.
that, and he really wanted it in black and white. So it was
Oh.
like the old 1931 Frankenstein film.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, loads of the props and stuff were from the 1931 film.
Yeah, because Blazing Saddles is colour, isn't it? And that was like the year before or year
I think it
after?
was the same
Or
year.
It's perfectly in black and white though. Like it just
Yeah.
works so well.
Yeah.
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 And the other bit of something that I read was that Gene Wilder apparently is horrendous at just breaking all the time,
Really?
and was finding it so funny that some films had to be filmed over a dozen times. Some scenes
Oh really?
had to be filmed over a dozen
Oh my
times
God.
because he was just finding them so funny. He was just breaking all the time, which I just think that's amazing. The other thing that I'd read was that apparently it was really long, because I don't know how long it actually was, like only an hour and 40 or something, isn't it? Apparently it was about double the length when they finished it, and Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder watched it and were like, well, that is shit. Like, we've done a really bad job. Just cut right down to the bone. And then Mel Brooks, he said in like a fairly recent thing that it's his best film he's ever made.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's really cool.
And they must
Yeah.
have cut so much out then.
yeah.
The wonder of the editing room.
Yeah. The cutting room floor.
Why do I feel like half of the things that I'm saying tonight, you're going to be like, oh, that's really interesting, Abby. Brr, cutting room floor.
We'll use that technique for this.
So he actually does bring the creature to life. It's got that amazing bit where he's just punching him in the crotch for 8, like where he's like hitting him.
Yeah.
And then he is immediately scared by a match and attacks Frederick and has to be sedated.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's like miming what he needs.
Oh yeah, the charades of.
He's sedative, yeah. And what does he say? Sedative?
She's saying sedative.
Oh yeah.
Sedative! Classic. So roughly the same time, the townspeople are gathering to discuss their unease at a Frankenstein, continuing to do Frankenstein things up in the castle. And this was the other point where I was like, if Transylvania's in Romania, why are all the townspeople English?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Apart from the police officer
who has the strongest German accent there for once.
Oh yeah.
And so there's Inspector Kemp, who we're introduced to at this point, who has only one eye and a, what did I say, wooden arm?
Yeah, I think wooden arms.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the one point where he's got the darts in his
Oh,
eye.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's the very next bit where he goes to visit Frederick and wants him to promise not to create another monster. And obviously at that point, the monster, the creature, is making that like
Oh yeah.
sound.
The yummy sound. Is that
Yummy
it?
Yeah.
Is that you just made a yummy sound?
I love that bit where they're playing darts though. That was just something I noted down, just because it's just so funny. That obviously when Frankenstein's got his back turned, he like makes the noise and he goes and runs over and puts them all in the bullseye.
Oh yeah,
doesn't
that's it. Yeah.
And then, but the best bit is after that scene, there's like a cut when he goes out to his car, and because they've all like been terrible aim, they're all like shot into the tyres.
Oh,
of the
there is,
car
yeah.
and everything. It's so funny.
And then while all of that's happening, Frau Blucher is setting the monster free, and she explains that she loved Victor and that she wanted to support him and that she was letting
How
him free.
old is she?
Yes, this is what we said. Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it?
Frau Blucher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order to be in love with Victor Frankenstein, she's what, like 60, 70 in that film?
So I don't know whether this is part of the joke, because Victor is his grandfather,
Yeah.
but when the solicitor comes, he says that Frederick's great-grandfather has died and leaves the castle to him. And so I think time is supposed to be, I don't know, kind of semi-fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was one specific sentence that she said, and I immediately thought, I know that voice somewhere. I know it. And I looked her up. Did you guys look up who she is?
No.
She is the grandma in Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, yeah.
Lois's mum.
Yeah.
In Malcolm in the Middle.
She's
Who-
horrible, isn't she, in that?
Yeah.
The worst
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah, she's really, really horrible. And she's also in The Croods. She plays the voice of the Gran in The Croods.
I love
Oh,
the
she's really
grandma.
nice, yeah.
Yeah. And she's in Ponyo.
Really?
I don't know what character.
Oh, she must be one of the old ladies at the nursing home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, however old she is in this
Oh,
film,
I see.
she's still doing stuff.
God,
well, I
yeah.
mean, those things are kind of. The Croods is probably the. Is Croods newer than Ponyo?
Cruise 2
Yeah.
will be, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, she's still doing stuff semi-recently as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Those are such cool characters as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Amazing. Anyway, sorry, carry on. I was
Fine.
I was really glad that I recognised just some snippet of her
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
And it was the character from Malcolm in the Middle that I was just like, I know that voice.
No, it's nice for one of us to be able to add some like insightful things to the films we're watching, so thank you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You're welcome. I might do it again sometime.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
It's good because I haven't got quite broad enough shoulders to carry the facts on my own. Cloris.
Oh,
That's her name, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
is,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great name.
yeah, I love that.
Name.
It's definitely a name.
5. That is a 5 name. So he is then roaming the countryside, and he has encounters with a young girl.
That
and-
bit's terrifying because,
Yeah.
like, as a parent, you're like, no, I do not want to see this because
Yeah.
there's so many like of mice and men moments. You're like, I do not want an accidental death here.
Yeah.
And then he just seesaws her into her bed, and you're like, this is amazing. Like, from my thoughts, like the worst bit of the film is just like really good.
Yeah. That bit is so weird, yeah.
And how long the parents spend discussing it without actually going to look for her.
But I thought you were going to check. And then he also meets a blind hermit.
Played by
You go.
Gene Hackman,
Yeah.
Mm.
the amazing Lex Luthor.
Ooh.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah,
Didn't
from
know.
Christopher Reeve, Superman.
Right.
Ah,
Okay.
That's
yes,
good.
that makes sense.
So by this point, fun Abbey fact, drink a shot. He had already won an Academy Award for The French Connection and wanted to get involved in comedies because he'd never done a comedy. And so was friends with Gene Wilder, said he would do it for free, did it for free, and ad-libbed that, the coffee line where he's like, I forgot
Oh,
what
yeah,
he
it's like,
said.
I was going to make an espresso or something.
Yeah, because he's like hurting him with absolutely everything he does.
He pours the soup in his lap and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And
yeah.
as he walks off, he's like, I was going to make espresso!
Oh.
Which obviously he would have
Hurt him in
with,
some way.
presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did that bit himself. I was like, that's amazing.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's a Wes Anderson favourite, isn't he?
Is he?
He's in a couple, isn't he?
Is he?
He's in, is it Tenenbaums?
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
in that. Yeah, I totally forgot. Yeah.
Just not really a fan, are you?
No. Yeah. Thanks, Sam. I need to do my homework.
But the other thing is, so in the 1931 Frankenstein, he meets a young girl. And in 1935, The Bride of Frankenstein, he meets a blind hermit. So again, it's like reflecting this.
Adding both those things
Yeah.
in.
Oh, nice.
So by playing the violin, they recapture the monster, and Frederick locks himself in the room with him.
Yeah, but hang on. Why does that? They were trying to get the monster back, right? Then they make him climb up that wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't you just do that? Where are the stairs?
Yeah.
Do it near the stairs.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad
Yeah.
for him, and he
Go in
almost
the door.
couldn't get himself up. At the top. At the
Yeah, and there was no
top.
like joke really there, was there?
No,
it
it
was
was
just
just
for
literally
the fun
like,
of it.
Yeah.
let's just watch him climb up these vines or this trees or whatever he was climbing.
Is yeah, that was really strange. Yeah.
So when the monster is recaptured, Frederick locks himself in a room with him, and he tells them that they absolutely should not let him out, whatever he does, and then he regrets it immediately, obviously, because the monster is quite homicidal.
I was joking.
But he manages to calm the monster with unconditional love.
Ah.
Which is
Yeah, which is
adorable.
adorable.
It's always the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we all need some of that sometimes. When he's saying like, "You are good, you are," and I was like, "Yes, we all need to hear that sometimes."
Especially from Gene Wilder.
Exactly.
So then it kind of flashes forward a little bit to he's doing a show with Frederick and the Monster putting on the Ritz,
Oh yeah.
like Top Hat and Tails, which is amazing.
So random though. All of a sudden, it's like so smooth, like the
Yeah.
tap and like the cane, and it's just so funny.
Yeah.
I love that bit. Well.
And then a stage light explodes and the monster gets frightened. The crowd starts to boo, the monster gets angry, and he's captured again and chained up.
Yeah, but pause
Oh, by the
here.
police. Yeah.
I just wrote in my notes, why are people dicks? Because literally, like, Yeah, he starts getting a bit crazy, but then people are throwing stuff.
But they
they're,
live in
like,
Transylvania
thrashing-
where they've had a history of a monster there before.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose, but like learn from last time. Like,
Yeah. The smart thing would not be to start throwing
Exactly.
stuff immediately at the monster.
yeah. I just felt so sorry for him. I was like, come on,
Yeah.
everyone,
Yeah.
can you just not?
Can you just not chain up everyone that is like having a bad day? Please.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the key.
Can you not bring trash with you to the show?
Yeah. Where did they find it?
Just in case.
Yeah.
I'm going to upturn this bin and throw it all on the stage.
Upturn bin. Cool. So he's chained up. They go back to the castle. Inga comforts Frederick, if you know what I mean,
No.
in a carnal fashion.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Please edit that out.
On the Frankenstein's monster table.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Up in the actual tower
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, it's probably quite nice.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna
be
say
fair.
we would all do if we had the chance. If we're
Yeah.
honest,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
under the lightning.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then the fiance arrives. Elizabeth arrives, leading to one of Dan's favourite lines.
Yeah. Yeah, when Frederick's like, Eeyore, can you help me with the bags, please, or something? And I can't remember what he says exactly. Fine, yeah, you take the blonde, I'll take the other one. And then he goes just absolutely nuts because she's wearing like a fox.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's really
so
weird.
He's the best character, Igor.
Yeah.
Like the others are
Igor.
Igor, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
come
what
on.
we're doing. He's so funny, and also like Gene Wilder's really good, obviously, but Gene Wilder quite often is playing like the straight man in this to like some
Yeah.
of the other like goofy things that are happening.
Yeah.
But then he actually does some really funny shit as well. So
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
good.
Yeah. And the monster escapes at roughly the same amount of time. And I don't remember quite what happened, but she ends up going into the forest for something, or something happens.
Who does?
Elizabeth.
No, he goes to her window, doesn't he?
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
he goes to her, I think.
Yeah, but how do they end up in the woods?
Yeah.
I think he just takes her into the woods.
Oh,
I think
okay.
he literally kidnaps her from the castle.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I missed that
Yeah,
bit.
I'm sure she's in her room like brushing her hair or something, then he's at the window.
Right, so she's singing a song, and I read that there's 2 songs in this. One, they just thought it'd be really good for the story, which is the other song, and then this one was literally because it was free,
Oh, really?
Well, like
They didn't.
royalty.
royalty
Yeah.
free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And what song is it? Just a random song?
No, I can't remember what it is. I can't remember what it
Is
is.
it like an old traditional song or something?
Yeah.
Why don't they just write their own song? Their own crappy song or something?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Well, I don't know, Dan. So she now Wikipedia says falls in love with him.
Yeah, I have.
I
bone to pick
don't
with
know
this.
that's what it is.
No.
But due to his enormous Schwanzstucker,
Schwanzstucker.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, this scene was very weird.
it was weird.
Yeah.
This is the bit that has.
It was of its time.
I would say aged terribly, but that's even putting it very politely. I think.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
scene is very just horrible. Really.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
More than a bit rapey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Yeah, he
Yeah.
essentially rapes that woman, and then effectively, like, the comedy aspect of it is that she just falls in love with him because of that. Even to the point where there's like a star wipe transition coming out of the screen, isn't there, to like
Yeah.
the next scene or something.
Yeah.
And she sings the second song,
Oh yeah,
which was Our Sweet Mystery of Life.
yeah.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird.
That's the kind of thing I'm surprised that no one has picked up on later in life. like later down the line, like a lot of old pieces of like media and what's the word I'm looking for here? Like films, books, stuff like that is getting edited like now, like Roald Dahl books. They're cutting out a lot of stuff.
Censored.
Yeah. I'm surprised that hasn't been, had a look at.
Had a look at.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not been had a look at. Actually. I will say that much.
No, I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a weird suggestion as well, isn't it? That like women, they act like they don't want it.
Yeah.
But then they do.
Yeah.
They don't know what they actually want. They don't know what's good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then actually, you just carry on and it's all right in the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
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 That is
Not good.
essentially what happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Schwanzstucker.
Maybe it's just where it's in the context of like a silly comedy that it's like overlooked by the people that are actually making any decisions. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I guess he is supposed to be like a monster.
Yeah.
Like, I know that the underlying...
Well, maybe that's the caveat then, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it does... Yeah.
The underlying theme is women don't know what they want, so go ahead and rape them because they'll probably like it.
Yeah.
But he isn't... It wasn't an evolved person that did it. It was this basic raw version of a person.
Oh yeah, but then even in a way that makes it even worse because it's like, well, this person isn't even a proper human being.
Yeah.
But you still were in love. Well, in inverted commas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You loved him.
That act of what was happening there made that person fall in love
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Very weird.
Very, very, very weird.
But works out in terms of the story
Mm.
because Gene Wilder's already slept with the other woman.
Yeah.
Ingrid,
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's happy.
And they end up... Everyone's kind of happy at the end of the film. In the way they've coupled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Igor though. Come on,
Oh.
lonely.
Yeah. Is he sad or happy at the end? I can't remember. I feel like he'd be happy.
Yeah, he's a quite easygoing guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't know anything about Igor's personal life.
No,
He
that's
might be
true.
married with kids.
Oh.
That
That would be
that's
adorable.
Yeah, I mean, when you said it,
Oh.
I thought, is there something I'd forgotten? Yeah, but he may just be... I mean, he's just doing his day job, isn't he, when we see
Right.
him?
Yeah, that's
Just
true,
going home
yeah.
at the end of the
It's
day.
9 to 5.
It's 9 to 5, yeah. It's 9 to 5 is just
Yeah.
helping Frederick Frankenstein.
Yeah. So the townspeople obviously know that he's escaped and they're on the hunt for him, and Frederick is playing the violin to lure the monster back to the castle, which he does, and he recaptures him. And Inspector Kemp obviously is leading the charge and actually is the battering ram, isn't he?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
within that bit, which is amazing.
That's so good. Yeah.
And just as the mob storms the lab, Frankenstein, who he's now calling himself,
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenstein, transfers some of his brain into the creature, who then reasons with and placates the mob. And then it shows, like you guys said, the kind of after picture of what was happening. Elizabeth with her hair styled after the Bride of Frankenstein
Yeah.
is now married to the murderer, who is somewhat more sophisticated than he was. And then
Murderer?
The body that was used was that of a murderer.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that.
I don't know if I knew that either. I meant to say monster
Oh.
for sure.
He was hung, wasn't
He's
he?
hung, isn't
He was hung.
Yeah, they got the body from a prison. It was like a
Oh, I see.
poster or something, wasn't it? Like hanging of a
Yeah.
7-foot
Oh, yeah.
murderer.
It was
Oh.
weird because you've been calling him like the monster the whole time and then you just said murderer.
Yeah,
It
and-
threw me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I love that Sam said that because I didn't remember that at all. I just meant to say monster. I'm
Oh.
always thinking of and concerned about murderers, and that's just what came out. So,
As you should be.
Yeah.
and then Inga is with Frederick.
Mm.
So literally everybody happy.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Win-win. And that's the end of the film.
So
Star
she does
swipe.
the little what did you get from the transfer?
Oh, yeah. What did he get, Sam?
He got a weird look in his eyes.
Yeah. Use the word carnal.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that was a bit weird at the end there.
Yeah. And it really like went into his face, didn't it? There.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
real zoom in. Yeah.
Amazing.
What was that the sound of?
Oh. Oh. Well, his telescopic penis, of course.
Is this your yummy noise, Dan?
It's my yummy noise.
Oh my god.
That was a
Amazing.
great film. Really
Yeah.
good.
Really good film.
I really
Great
loved
choice.
it. I've literally never seen it, and I would never have gone back to watch it.
You've never seen that film
No,
before?
I've never seen it. I didn't even know it
Oh.
existed. So, thanks for the recommendation.
Oh.
Abby.
It was really. I
Loved
couldn't
it.
tell if I'd seen it before. Like some of the bits I recognised, but not enough to like know
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
happening.
I've only seen it 3 or 4 times now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My thing is, it's just got some such classic jokes
Yeah.
that you can just use again and
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Like I say, walk this way all the time.
You do? Yeah.
I suppose
Like,
that does probably
just-
come up like as
Yeah.
a tour operator. You probably use it.
I use it every day of my tour operating life. Oh, I'm really sorry when you edit this as well, because I just laughed so hard, like one dog-like.
Your Aerosmith like.
This is the second time you mentioned Aerosmith this evening.
But that's why they named that song.
Walk
Yeah.
this way. No, it's not.
No, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That song is after that line in the film.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? No. Why?
Ask Steve Tyler.
No.
Or
Steve Tyler.
His name?
Stephen Tyler. You seem to be on a very friendly basis.
Are you not?
Is he a neighbour of yours?
He is, yeah.
Where you live in London?
Ontario.
you want a fun fact?
Always.
Yes.
So I was listening to a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
as this is.
A true crime podcast?
I don't know if it's a true crime podcast. If I'm honest, I think it was a feminism podcast. And they were talking about Mary Shelley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this was ages and ages ago. I had to try and hunt it down because I remembered that there was something absolutely amazing. And she had the saddest life, but in a really, like, I don't know what the word is, kind of fun way, like a bohemian type way. And she was friends with Lord Byron.
Oh.
And Lord Byron, another author, her husband Percy Shelley and Mary Shelley all went and they spent a winter together in Lake Geneva. And while they were there was like a volcano, so there was like ash everywhere. It was really miserable weather. Nobody could go out or do anything, and they were like stuck in one holiday house altogether. And she was 19, which is also weird. And they just used to read horror stories of an evening, like to each other, to try and get through it. And it was quite like fractious in the house. They were all not getting along and stuff. And they were reading morbid poems and horror stories. And then Lord Byron was like, he read one and he was like, I've got a challenge for you, bearing in mind we're stuck in this shithole, presumably. That's how he said it. Everybody try and write a ghost story that is better than the one that we just read. So literally every morning he'd be like, so how's everyone coming on with their ghost stories? And she was like, oh, literally nothing is coming. She's a 19-year-old girl. And
What does that
then,
mean?
well, it's
can't write
young,
ghost
isn't
story.
it, to write, like, I don't know, to have stuff. And then one night she said she had a vision and it was Frankenstein.
Oh,
And she wrote it from that. She wrote it literally in that situation.
really?
Wow.
On like a bet, like a dare, essentially, from Lord Byron,
Wow.
which is completely random.
That's
there
very
you go.
strange, yeah.
And then everybody that was there just died awfully and randomly of like various things in the next 2 or 3 years.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah. But which is also good because it's like its own little horror
Oh, and then
stitch.
she used the body parts to make a monster.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She knew how to do it by then. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Good for her.
It's just, I think it's quite impressive
It's really
again
good,
to be
yeah.
like,
Have you read it?
no, you.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
it's really good.
What happens at the end?
Spoilers.
Then what does happen at the end of her original story then?
It goes into like he goes on a boat in the Arctic, I think, as well. There's a lot of
The
like
monster?
them interacting, like Victor and the monster,
Oh,
like seeing each other throughout their lives and stuff. If I remember right. And I think the thing is, he wants a mate. He goes into that bit.
Yeah.
Does it annoy you when people call the monster Frankenstein when it's actually Frankenstein's monster?
I feel like everyone just gets annoyed with that now because they're like, oh, we all know that. But
Yeah.
everyone's obliged to say it.
Yeah.
You should just give it a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. What would that name be though?
I suppose if you already had a name, like in life, the body.
True.
Yeah. It's
And the
still-
brain. You literally have
like,
two
I would
options
combine
of
them,
names.
Like a celebrity couple, I would combine the brain and the body name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Are any of the other stories like famous?
So I think the other author that I cannot remember his name at all, he wrote something about a vampire, which was,
What's his name? Bram Stoker.
it wasn't, no, so, and I don't know, I know nothing, no. I can't advance this any further because I can't remember. His name is like Polyadono or something, if that's helpful. Or something.
Imagine that was not helpful. at all.
Please. No. Please also focus on the or something because I genuinely can't remember what it was. Yeah, so it was like one of the first kind of vampire-y type books as well. So yeah, I really, really loved the vision of that, of them. Yeah, just like you say, hunkered down.
Yeah.
I don't think they got on very well. I think that's the difference. Is that they were kind of doing that because they were literally, it was
Sick.
fractious
Could
and
you
they
just
were
piss off
hating
for like 2 weeks and
each
write a
other.
book? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sounds like you could make a literal movie out of that, like a horror
I'm sure,
movie.
yeah, it must have.
out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good movie.
Yeah,
actually.
there's a volcano, there's like, I don't know, they're snowed
Yeah.
in.
I feel like there
whatever,
not like a
natural
Doctor Who
thing.
episode of that or something.
Really?
I feel like there probably is.
A what episode?
Doctor Who.
Or the writing
No,
of Frankenstein.
Like
Maybe
a
I've made
Doctor
that up.
Who.
There's definitely is a Sean Bean TV show.
Oh.
Does he die?
I think. Oh, I can't remember anything about what happened, but I think that's got Mary Shelley in it and also Percy Shelley.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's about the reanimation of people. That's like the whole kind of
There is
Thing.
a Doctor Who episode
really.
where they go to Villa Diodati during a thunderstorm where they meet Mary Shelley, Lord Byron, and all these people.
Polyadono.
And Percy Shelley's missing. Yeah.
All right.
Yay!
John Polidori.
That's it.
Ah.
What you said.
Oh, yeah.
read that over
John
Sam's
Polidori,
shoulder.
Yeah.
And which Doctor was it? Was it David Tennant or another one?
The 13th Doctor, who I think is
Count them out.
Jodie, what's her name?
Whittaker.
Yes, it's Jodie Whittaker, 13th Doctor. But I imagine it wasn't the Cybermen in real life that were causing issues.
Impossible
Well, we
to
can't
know.
tell, yeah.
I guess.
Mm.
Wouldn't hear them coming.
That's amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it means that at least some of what I said was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verified.
This time by Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But that's good, like, they clearly saw that as an interesting enough thing that
Yeah.
happened to put it into the story.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
I need to
So I guess the only...
It's called the Frankenstein Chronicles. Sorry.
Oh, the Sean Bean thing.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed it.
How old is that? How long ago was that?
2015.
Oh, it's a bit too old.
Seen Bean?
On what? Where is it available? Or can we watch it now still?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Cool.
Oh.
How many episodes?
Fuck's sake.
How many series?
I'm not Wikipedia, you lot. 2 seasons.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently you can watch it on Apple TV and Prime Video.
Okay.
It's got 86%.
Right.
Any other good cast members? He wasn't Mary Shelley then.
Well,
He's a versatile actor.
Yeah.
Tom Ward, who I don't know who he is. He's someone. Oh, he was from Silent Witness. Vanessa Kirby. Anna Maxwell Martin was Mary Shelley, who I feel like you immediately would know.
Yeah, I know her.
She's in like every English thing
Let me
ever.
see.
Yeah.
I actually do know her, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's in. Is she in Line of Duty?
Maybe, or in that Mother.
Oh, Motherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Mm. So, yeah, well done, Mary.
Yeah, she's Line of Duty. She was like the new Big Chief, wasn't she?
Oh yes. Great show.
Oh,
She was really good in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
There you go.
So the only thing we would improve, Mary, if you're listening, give the monster a name maybe next time.
Yeah.
And also tone down the rape.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
she didn't do
She
that.
didn't
Oh,
do
but
No,
she
she didn't.
did she?
I don't think she was a rapist.
Turn it down.
Yeah. 0 to 0. Just tone it down.
Dial it back a
Yeah,
notch.
or just turn it off. Don't just turn it down.
Yeah. We'll cut that out. No, but was the monster force himself on people in the actual book?
I can't
Oh,
remember.
here's a test, Sam, because you said you read it.
You said
It's
you-
page 86.
Look, just falls open onto that page whenever you open the book.
I'd listen to the audiobook too. Oh no. Should we do some scores?
Please.
Great idea.
So as ever, we are going to give the film a score in 3 categories, being enjoyability, shareability and masterpiece ability, where each lad will score out of 5, giving a total score of 60. So let's start with enjoyability. Luce.
A 4.
Ooh. Ab.
A 4.
I also gave a 4. Dan.
I did not. I gave it a 3.5.
Why did you enjoy
Ooh.
this film a little bit less than us?
It was a weird moment actually where I found myself in the middle of the film. I don't know, not bored, but I was just a bit like, it just seemed this bit was just dragging on a bit. And I don't know why. I think it was
And do you think that says more about you or the film?
maybe, and maybe it's because I have seen it 3 or 4 times.
Okay. So that gives it an enjoyability score of 15.5. So shareability. Dan.
3.5 again.
Abby.
A 3 from me.
Luce.
A 2.
Bless you.
Thank you, Sam.
And your score, Luce.
What a joke.
I'm sorry.
Right, I'm gonna say I give it number 2 and then just wait for the poo joke.
I also scored it 2. So, Dan, you enjoyed it the least, but would share it the most.
Oh.
Yeah, I think, I did enjoy it the least, but only by 0.5. Okay, yes.
Okay.
You're adding some spin to that.
That's 10%.
Yeah. So, a bigger number.
What is it?
Of the total score is.
Of the
Yeah,
total
the
score of
available.
enjoyability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loose. Shareability of 2.
Yeah, I think I like it because this movie is my sort of humour, just those like silly jokes. Like the bit where he said, Igor, you haven't touched your food, and then he just like starts poking it with his fingers and things like those jokes are so silly, but I love them. But I feel like it's not everybody's taste. So I definitely enjoyed it, and that's why I gave it a high enjoyability score, but it isn't one that I'd recommend to friends and family, really.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm the same. It's like knocking 50 years, and I don't know who I would recommend it to. If you wanted to watch it, you probably would have done by now.
My favourite thing was how hard it was to get hold of.
Oh yeah,
Because
we haven't discussed this.
You literally could not watch it anywhere. And when we first discussed watching it, Sam, you said straight away, I feel like it should be films that other people can actually watch. And then the more hard it was to get, the more you were like, I must watch this film somehow. And we went and bought a £3 copy from CEX.
Yeah, and we got the VHS player out of the lot.
But that's true. So people who are listening to this at home, good luck if you don't already own this.
Yeah.
Or
You will never be able to watch
if
it.
you happen to record it on like Sky when it was on in August 2020 on BBC One, just watch that and you've already got it.
You'll be fine.
Absolutely fine.
How do you know that?
But I just remember it well. But it's not on any streaming platform. You can't buy it on anything. You've either got to buy it, the physical copy, or go see Abby's dad.
Borrow it from my dad.
Or maybe you were old enough to see it at the cinema. How old would you have to be for that? What are we talking? 50 years?
Yeah. And I don't know what the
You're
certificate
70.
is, but...
Any
you might-
70-year-olds watching?
So, the last score is for Masterpiece Ability. Loose.
2.5.
Okay. Ab.
Well, 4.5, Sam.
Whoa.
Dan.
I gave it a 4.
I also gave it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Ab, would you like to kick this off?
I would love to kick us off. So, for me, because I think actually, as the more of these we do, the more I realise that we all mean something different by masterpiece ability, probably.
Yeah.
Like-
I mean, Masterpiece Ability.
Like, Sam, you've spoken a couple of times about how much you want to see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, that's probably not what it's about. It's about, like, technical skill and how much it's, I don't know, copied and replaced and technically good. Like we said about Gene Wilder being spot on with his comedy, and like there were so many bits around like them using the 1931 methods, the props, the like ways of doing it that made it really like classic cinema.
The
Even
attention
though-
to detail there is
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah. I get that.
And then I think there was so many bits that seemed to be kind of improvised, which again I think that's like a real sign of good skill, isn't it? Like the hump changing sides, that was improvised, and they didn't know that it was going to happen. Anyone else, it was just that
Oh,
Marty
really?
Feldman
I didn't
just
know that was an
did
improv.
it. And there's one particular line where he's like, wasn't that on the other? And that was completely like... So, I don't know, for me it was just like technically so good in so many ways and so repeatable both by like us as viewers but also by other filmmakers in what came after it.
That's fair.
That's good, yeah. No, I agree with that. Like, for a almost 50-year-old film, it feels really new still. Like, the comedy is still, like, relevant. There's a couple of dodgy scenes in there, which we've discussed. But otherwise, like, with the acting, which is spot on, like, Frederick and Igor interactions, it's just as funny now as it probably ever was. And, yeah, I really enjoyed it for what it was. So, I'm giving it a 4. But loose, 2.5.
Yeah, I just thought that the story, well, it's taken from something else and it didn't feel like an original story. I felt the sets were quite small, Like, I know there was the rig going up to the top, but like there's all the scenes outside the castle and they all seem to be like on that front door, and it didn't seem like it did feel like it was on set. I also felt the comedy was quite simple and like a little bit superficial. Like compared to some of the other movies we've reviewed, which are quite like, the storylines have been quite convoluted and quite complex and quite clever. I feel like this was just quite straight down the line and quite like just fun and good. But yeah, 2.5, middle of the road. I think that's fine.
Yeah, and that's still a good score.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gives it a total score of 15 for masterpiece ability, and out of 60, 41, which I think is a pretty respectable score.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Over 2/3 of the points available.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check out our social media to see how that ranks against our other films we've discussed.
Yeah.
I know I will be. I'm intrigued. I genuinely want to know.
Yeah, I literally have no idea.
Thank you for coming along to this week's Lads Film Thing. Oh no, hang on, sorry. Thank you for coming along to this week's Lads Film Thing and joining us while we discussed Young Frankenstein.
We'd love to know what you thought about it too. Did you find it as 41 out of 60 as we did? Let us know on our Twitter or Instagram. Find the details in the description. So if you enjoyed listening to our podcast, please leave us a rating and review.
And don't forget, share with your own lads.
And you know we're not picky, so share it with everyone.
Maybe not your monster with an enormous Schwanzstucker.
Wow.
So grab your popcorn.
Round up your lads.
Keep watching.
And join us next week.
Bye.
After 3.
On 0.
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Oh,
No,
3,
but that was
2. That was practice one, and we did it well.
I've
These
clapped
two
before.
did not.
I
do
don't
it
need to
well.
practice clapping.
Some people do need to practice clapping.
It feels like we do.
Okay.
Okay.